Hello and welcome to the agency Whitelabel portal for Synthflow AI. This video will have a few sections and we'll just give you a quick run through our white labeling services and how to run your agency properly. So the very first thing, to access the agency features, you click on the left side here under agencies and you will find the subtabs for managing your agency. The very first tab, it's called general. Here you can customize your logo and your name. So you change it here, Arcos, and it changes it automatically here. In the future, this tab will be named probably account. For now, this is only the important thing here. Then, what you want to do as a very first step when you launch your white label is go under custom domain and connect your domain. There are three steps to do so. First, you have to add your domain. So it could be something like custom domain.com, .net, whatever you have available. Remember, you need to have this domain available, not being used on some other website or other app. If you don't have a domain or a new domain, you can use a subdomain. So you could probably do something like voice.customdomain.net. Then you have to, the second step is to connect your domain. The app will give you some instructions. Meanwhile, until it loads, what you have to do is go to your domain provider, which can be Namecheap, GoDaddy, or whatever you're using. And when you go to that, when you go to your DNS records into that domain provider, you'll have to add a text record with the name voice and this value here. After you do that on the domain provider, come back to the app, check DNS records, and if it's valid, it will move further. Uh, the third step is to launch your app. After you connected this, you'll see here that this button, check DNS records, will be overwritten and say launch your app. Click on that so you don't use still our domain, but you're going to use your new domain. And lastly, you can change the meta tags here. The meta tags are how the app will appear in searches or when you share the website link to. Thank you. First step, there are three steps. The very first step is to connect your Stripe. Here, you will be able to connect the Stripe. You'll see a button to connect to Stripe. You'll be redirected to the Stripe portal and you have to do a few things there. After you connect to Stripe, you can come back here to this screen here. It's called rebuilding. And this is a simple view of the plans, and this is a detailed view of the plans. You can see more in depth what it will include. This is the first step, connect your Stripe. The second step is to create your first pricing tier, and let's do this together. So click create pricing tier. The first input you have to add is the pricing tier name. So it could be starter 1, for example. You can create as many as pricing tiers you want because you might serve different niches, industries, clients that you want to charge them in a different way. So a description, who is it for, what it does include, or stuff like that. It's optional, you can skip it. The number of maximum AI assistants you want to allow the users on that pricing tier to use. So you can add as many as you want. You can do like that or even like so. Then you will be able to choose what type of AI assistants they are allowed to create or you can create for them into that pricing tier. So it could be outbound, inbound, those are enabled. After you decide this, you go to the second step of the creation of the pricing tier. Here, there are two important inputs. The first input is the plan pricing. The plan pricing is a monthly requiring subscription that will get charged regarding if the user, the sub account, will consume or not consume the minutes included into that pricing tier. And the first way to do this is, let's say you have a pricing tier for $100 and you assign for $100 you can assign, I don't know, 20 minutes, let's say. So after they consume those 20 minutes, they will move automatically to usage-based pricing, meaning they will pay as much as they will consume. And here you're allowed to say how much that minute will cost, how much you will sell our minute for. So you can add something like $1, and you'll be able to see our Synthflow, how much we charge and how much you're going to charge and how much profit you're going to make. So click save, and this plan has been created here. You can see the detail view. The third step to make this usable is you need to go to the sub account. You'll need to go to that specific account that you want to enable. Go to sub account, dashboard, go to pricing, and here you have to click on that specific sub account, like starter one, to enable that pricing. In the soon feature, probably until I release this will be ready. You will be able to set defaults for for your clients. Here you create a new pricing tier. Sorry for that. So here you'll have to enable the pricing plan for that sub account. In the near future, you'll be able to set the default pricing plans for default sub accounts. And to see how it looks, you click here, access, and you log in into that specific plan. And here you'll be able to see how the user sub account will see the plan. You click here on plan and billing, and here is a pricing plan that we've created and enabled for that user. Because I just mentioned defaults, I want to quickly dive into how can you set default settings for your sub accounts. Here there's a first pick under general, but this will be moved under sub accounts until you will see this. So under sub accounts you'll be able to find those, and you'll be able to set the default trial minutes, the default pricing when you create a new account, so you don't need to do it manually for each sub account. And another thing is that we also have the option through the API to create sub accounts. So for example, you can capture a sub account in a form and automatically create them an account. But um, here are some other defaults that you can set for sub accounts. You can allow them, for example, uh, to independently create assistants from scratch or not. Depends what type of control you want to offer them. You can make some tabs visible or not into their agents. So for example, you can disable the prompt if you don't want them to see the prompt. You only you touch that, or deployment or logs and so on. So this offers a little bit more room to really fine grain and do the settings as you see fit for your customers. Now let's dive into sub accounts, or how to manage your users. So there are several ways to do so. So first way is to create the account manually. You click here, you go to the sub account under the agency and click create sub account. You add the name of the sub account, you assign some trial minutes, and you enable for them some what type of assistance this is, like the default for that account. This is one way. If you are a Go high level user, what you can do is you can import sub accounts from your Go high level account. But first, you have to click on integrations. You have to go here under GHL, and you'll have the button to connect to GHL. What is important to know when you connect to GHL, remind yourself that you have to connect to the agency level, not on the sub account level. So you have to link it with your agency. You need permissions and so to do so. But if you're not doing that, you'll not be able to import sub accounts into the Synthflow app. So go back to sub accounts. You have added your main account, and here on import from high level, you'll be able to find all your sub accounts here, and you can add all of them or select them or look for some specific sub account in GHL. Right now, I don't have any on my GHL account, so that's why nothing has been found here. So this is if you're a GHL user. Here is the table with all your sub accounts. You can search for it if you want, or whatever you want to do here. You'll be able to see the sub account username, when it was created, how many assistants they have, how many minutes you set them by default, and how many users are into that sub account. And let me just pick one that has a user. Let's say this one. So here, click manage. You are able to see the very first thing. It's a dashboard with some KPIs, how many calls have been made, actions happened, how many assistants that user has created, and how many minutes did that user consume from versus the allocated minutes that you gave him as a free trial. Then we have the general settings. Here is where you can change the name of the client. You can add some trial minutes, some assistants, how many assistants you can create, and enable assistants. One more thing is that those settings would soon be able to set as default under a new category in the sub accounts, but right now this is the only way. And here below, if this account is coming from GHL, you will find their location ID here. So you know it's linked to your GHL sub account, and also the delete sub account button here below. It's a bit hidden. Next, under users, this is how you invite new users. You add an email, you click invite user, and a link is generated. You see, it's going to use the custom domain that I added as an invite, so it will not be branded with Synthflow or anything else. You send that to your user, and they can sign up. You see here, Alex, the email I just created, it's still pending because it didn't accept. Albert here accepted the invitation and created an account, so that's why it says accepted. Then you have the assistance tab. Here you can create assistants for your user directly from here. Then we have the pricing. I've shown you how the pricing works. You enable pricing tiers for them. This will be also soon available to have a default for sub accounts. Then you have the API keys. Under API keys, you can take their Synthflow API key to deploy their agents, override their Twilio credentials, add their level labs, and so on. Under logs, you can see, based on their assistant, you can select their assistant and see how many calls they've done, the call recordings, the call transcripts, and so on. But yeah, basically this is the sub account section. And the final part is I want to share some tips and tricks that I've learned from our customers that are using daily to manage their agency. So first of all, under your main account, you might have this assistance tab where you can create your assistants and play around with them. I recommend you to create for yourself like a demo sub account. That way you can use only some specific numbers, and it's easier to keep track on different settings. In future, we're going to allow you rather soon actually to create some assistants here and make them default for sub accounts, or you can copy them to some specific sub accounts. But yeah, that's until then. Another point is your Twilio account. This is really important. Here under integrations and during the onboarding, you'll be prompted to add your Twilio account. And the way it works, you probably are going to add your main Twilio account here. But it's not necessarily a good idea, because these settings here under integrations, under the parent account, under the agency account, will make all the other sub accounts use these Twilio credentials as default. So the default for for the new clients, it will be your main Twilio credentials. So I also recommend you in Twilio create a new sub account for you, and create a new demo sub account, which you can buy 1 or 2 phone numbers and add it here. So this can be the default for all new sub accounts. And in your account and your sub account where you can experiment and build assistants and so on, you can add your main Twilio account. And also for your other sub accounts and other clients, you can basically only go here under API keys and override the default Twilio account settings and add a new sub account you create for them in Twilio, or just if they have their own Twilio account, you can bring it here by doing so. But yeah, this is all.